Welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a best-of-5 series of Terran versus Protoss, where in game number 1, we find ourselves on the map Blackburn. Spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner and playing with the red Terran SCVs from France, we have Clem. His opponent in the bottom left, with the blue Protoss pieces from Germany, he goes by the name of ShoWTimE. Alrighty, so this particular series is the grand finals of the ESL Open Cup number 70, which got played just a couple of days ago. A couple of you reached out and mentioned that this series is a lot of fun, so I'm excited to see exactly what ends up going down, because honestly, man, I've been seeing a lot of Clem games recently, and this man is absolutely on fire, looking ridiculously good. I announced a couple days ago in a previous video as well that he overtook Serral on the Aliga rankings, meaning that he is now considered to be the highest ranked player on the planet. Now, obviously, you gotta take the statistics with a grain of salt and all that, but there's no denying that Clem is looking really good. And ever since I made that video, he's actually been, like, climbing even further. So he's even further ahead of Serral right now than he was then. It's not like the difference is ginormous, but there's no denying that Clem is looking ridiculously good. Now, for a little while, they called the ESL Open Cup Europe the Big Gape Weekly, right? So it's a weekly tournament where everyone can enter, and for a while there, Mr. Hero Marine was winning pretty much every single one of them. However, I noticed that a lot of people aren't really calling that anymore, so I looked it up, right? So Hero Marine has won 26 ESL Open Cups. However, Clem, regularly playing in these right now as well, he won 24. Must kind of suck if you're Hero Marine and you're almost guaranteed if you're extra like $200 or whatever a week. Then all of a sudden, you know, these other high-level guys start signing up. Speaking of Hero Marine, by the way, ShoWTimE took him down 3-0 leading up to this particular series. So, yeah, there's no denying that ShoWTimE knows what to do in this particular matchup as well. It's the downside, I guess, if you're a pro gamer, right? And you know that this tournament is very consistent, and you know exactly where to sign up and how to sign up and what to expect and how long it's going to run and all that, right? You know the time zone it's going to be in, the server it's going to be on, right? It just makes it more convenient. For some of these smaller online tournaments, it can be a bit of a hassle to figure out exactly how you can even participate in the first place. But since this one is so consistent and it's every single week around the same time, it makes it very easy for other top-level guys to, like, sign up as well and just participate every single week. Anyways, let us find out exactly what ends up going down right here in this particular Protoss versus Terran. Alright. So we see a little bit of chasing over here. The Reaper already scouted out that it is going to be a Stargate opener right here from ShoWTimE. So ShoWTimE is just going to open up very, very standard. Nothing out of the ordinary. On this particular map on Blackburn, we do have those slowing zones right over here in the back of the main base. This map, by the way, even though it's really exciting to watch, it has become a... I don't really want to make it sound too dramatic, but it's become quite heavily in favor of Terran. If you look right now on Liquipedia, I'm actually going to have a quick little look. Blackburn, LE, Liquipedia. You can see the pro games that are historically played on this particular map. So Protoss versus Terran on this map is 39.7% in favor of Protoss, meaning that it's more than 60%. In favor of Terran, which is... That's a lot, okay? For a map design, yeah, to be that favored to one side is a lot. Obviously, the sample size is kind of small because a lot of the pro players will veto it. I'm not entirely sure, actually, which map ShoWTimE then did veto, but we'll find out, I guess. If he end up going to a couple other maps as well, maybe we can figure out exactly what he ended up vetoing instead. Regardless, it is going to be an Oracle right here. Looks like it might very well be a quick third Nexus as well. Couple of Adepts at the front. Let's see how good the defense right here from Mr. Clem is going to be. Well, so far, I mean... What? Could he... There was just 6 Marines. Alright. A little bit unfortunate. He was probably anticipating a Widowmine burrow there or something. Not even really trying it out anymore. This Oracle right now hanging its head in shame as well. Oh, well. You're going to have to fly away, my man. Anyways, I feel like there could have been quite a lot of damage done there. Clem right now is going to end up chasing that Oracle for a little bit as well. Deals a bit of base damage. Yeah, now the Adept shade in, but now it's not really going to deal that much damage anymore. Definitely was an opportunity right there for some double-pronged harass. Anyways, he's taken the third base at this point, and he's going to transition right now apparently to a Phoenix as well. I always like Phoenixes. In this particular matchup, as I've said many times before, I really like... You know, just having the Phoenixes out myself. It's one of those units that really do reward multitasking. And obviously, that's one of the things that's very difficult to do against someone like Clem. Clem's very good when it comes to that very speedy play. That was... Yeah, that was not very good. Takes 3 hits to kill an SCV, and both of the oracles were there shot at once. Even though it looks like a continuous beam, that's not how it actually works. Alright, well. Bit of an unfortunate start here, all things considered, for ShoWTimE. I feel like he could have killed like half a dozen SCVs at the very least. Either way. Yeah, it's gonna just be a marine push right now. This is actually looking kind of dangerous. There's a couple Widow Mines. Stimpak is gonna finish up. There's no... Are there no Medivacs at all? Nah. Oh, no, he does have 2. Okay, I was gonna say. Thought I saw a couple of them coming up. Okay, so it's just 2 Medivacs, 17 Marines. Unless he walks into the stasis ward over here. Jimmy, no! Alright, well, that kind of sucks. I feel like this would be a push that could actually deal some damage. Instead, right now, he's gonna take the more defensive posture over here and wait until the stasis will be available. Or I guess we'll be running out once more. Medevac drop. Ooh! I like it. The Medevac right there dropped a single Marine within that stasis ward range. Phoenixes, though, are they going to be able to intercept these Medivacs? I mean, they're going to try. Okay. One of the Medevacs running very low already, but Phoenixes will have to fly out there. So this is a dicey defense right now, though, for ShoWTimE. One little mistake. Oh, God. Okay, one little mistake, and it can very easily be game over. Battery overcharge, of course, always an option here as well, so it makes the defense a little bit more straightforward. But if you lose a couple of these units for free, it's very difficult to actually hold on. At this point, though, we're looking at... Oh my God, that's kind of cheeky. That is here to intercept, like, you know, any of the flying units, a Warp Prism, whatever, right? Like, it's a couple of Widow Mines in the middle of nowhere, but right between the main bases. If this is gonna work, it would... Is this a Medivac bait? Is that why he's leaving this Medivac over here? That would actually be kind of cute. I think this Medevac may very well be here on purpose. It's like, hey guys, totally got 8 Marines inside of me. Don't worry about it. I'm just hanging out here. I'm about to go into your main. All right. Well, let's see where this is going to go. So far, yeah, both players mostly just testing the waters here, but Clem's army is looking quite a bit better, whereas ShoWTimE's eco is looking quite a bit better as well. Well, he tried. He's going to be forced to get on out of there once again. Yeah, so both of these players do prefer a more macro-focused style. So that is something worth pointing out. I do think we're probably going to see... Oh, one Oracle apparently got blown up. I do think we're probably going to see a more passive approach here. In general in this series. Like, ShoWTimE is a very... like, some people call it boring. But he's a very macro-focused player. So he will pretty much always make, like, the statistical better choices. Not nearly as aggressive as some of the other Pros players that we've seen as well. Anyways, is Clem gonna try and push in here? Clem is ridiculously good when it comes to microing these kind of units. So right now he's got the Widow Mines burrowed, right? He wants to try and get these Zealots to be on top of all of those Widow Mines as well. This battery right here in range. Okay, he does decide to, trigger a battery overcharge over here. When do you fight this, though? Yeah, a couple Liberators now joining in the fray as well. There's really not that much here for ShoWTimE to hold on. I mean, he's gonna have to pull the trigger at some moment, right? So the battery overcharge right now ran out. Cooldown is gonna be available. I think it was a little bit preemptive on that one. Okay, so that means that the battery is gonna end up falling. Okay, nice. Look at how patient these guys are. Clem's like, come on, man! Let's fight, bro! Well, right now, if you back up so far into your third base, yeah, your natural is gonna be exposed. At this point, I guess the issue will be forced, but now so many of those Widow Mines are just going to be able to get some free hits in. That is not the way you want to be defending this. I think ShoWTimE waited for just a little bit too long. At this point, like, the Marines and the Marauders can just overpower pretty much every single one of these units, right? I mean, you don't even have to really worry at that point anymore about the Liberators because you can't even beat the main army. Oof. Alright, well, that was calm and collected right there by Mr. Clem. After the Oracle didn't really do a lot of damage, that seemed like a pretty straightforward game number 1 from him. Alrighty, so here we go. Game number 2, we find ourselves on Romanticide. Now, just because I was curious, since I gave you the numbers for, what's it called? Blackburn Alley. This particular map has a 49.8% advantage for Protoss. And that is out of a sample size of 896 pro matches. So, yeah. Basically 50-50, meaning that the better player will pretty much always win. Now, this is one of those maps that can be a little bit more passive, just because taking the third base is quite a bit easier. So, since you only really have to worry about this big ramp right over here, I mean, obviously there's another ramp over here too, but, I mean, you can imagine if you're the defensive player and you're sitting out here and you notice, okay, my opponent is going to go around towards the side, whereas, like, the attacker is going to have to go all the way around, at least until these rocks are mined out. You can just, like, move in that direction, right? So it's pretty straightforward usually to play a more defensive game on this particular map, Romanticide. And even though it is very, very balanced, it can also, yeah, be a bit of a slower game. I don't mind that, though. Personally, a big fan of playing the macro games. That being said, actually, in my own ladder games, I've recently started vetoing Romanticide precisely for that reason. I find it quite hard to win in the late game recently with Zerg against both Terran and Protoss. So most of the time, I don't know, This map allows for much faster maxed out armies, I guess, and it just makes it a little bit tricky to, yeah, to play against that sort of style, because you can't really go for a lot of aggressive pushes on this one as easily. Anyways. Let us find out exactly what goes down here. So we have the SCV right here patrolling on the low ground for a little bit. It wants to start up a command center, and it will. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, we saw the, I think, 20 supply nexus going down there. Followed up with the cyber core as well. Cyber core first nexus doesn't really matter too much, depending on what you feel like at that particular moment. Obviously, if you go for the nexus first, it means the cyber core is going to be a little bit later. And with that, the defense against this very first Reaper is going to be delayed as well. Generally speaking, against Zerg, we do see the nexus first. And then the cyber core. However, against Terran, usually we see the nexus a little bit later after the cybernetics core. Small little difference, but it does, yeah, it does help out, especially when it comes to defending against this very first jetpack raider. There he comes. He's got 2 guns. He's got a jetpack. Seems like a dangerous combo to me. Anyways, Stargate once again. Yeah, so ShoWTimE is not really a man of tricks, okay? He's not really someone who will go for... He's not really someone who would go for a spicy strategy all too often, right? We've seen a lot of, like, Tempest cheese and Void Ray shenanigans with shield batteries and stuff on the other side of the map and all that. Like, I don't really see ShoWTimE pulling something like that off in this particular series. He's very much so a man who seems to me to be someone who, like, finds a strategy that he thinks is statistically the best and who will then, like, execute that over and over and over again. I mean, obviously, there's variations that he will have in his style, but he's pretty stoic in his approach, all things considered. I think that's, theoretically speaking, probably the best way to play. Right? We see that a lot, for example, as well from someone like Innovation, and you could say the same thing about Serral for some time as well. I know that Serral has been mixing it up quite a lot, but... yeah, generally speaking, it's once again now going to be that Oracle opener right here from our Protoss. Third CC very quickly right here from Mr. Clem. So this does mean that he's not going to have that much available to deal with the early game units here, but this time he will go for the Cyclone, which I like a lot. Cyclone's obviously fantastic when it comes to defending the bases. Third Adept right now available as well, so Clem is going to use that, I think, to, well, hopefully guard the third. Reaper's going to scout out everything, okay. Guess that's one way to get the third Adept to go across the map. Anyway, Cyclone is going to be super helpful here, of course. The trouble is that Clem is going to have to put his units in the right place at the right time. Because if all of these Protoss units together just commit to the natural, he's going to need that Cyclone in the natural as well, right? However, if the Oracle goes into the main base, I mean, there you go. It can become a bit of a disaster as well. I think that this is already just fine right now, though, for Clem. Basically, the longer you hold on here, the better it will become. Because obviously, the more defensive units you get. And this is fantastic for him. Third Nexus, though, goes up. Extra gateway right now coming up as well, so... yeah, relatively a straightforward game here once again. I wonder if he's gonna go once more into the Phoenixes here, if he will, or if he will decide to go into like a Robo Facility or a Twilight Council very, very shortly. Okay, it's gonna be a Forge here. Probably builds it on this side instead. Okay, double Forge even. Okay. Double Forge is pretty good. It's one of those things that's quite a... like, the thing is, Protoss in general kind of has to... it always feels to me like Protoss players take a third base off of like 3 units. Like sometimes that literally happens in Protoss versus Zerg. They literally, okay, Cyclone falls and right there we see the one Oracle fall as well. But sometimes we see them literally taking a third base off of like 3-4 units. And if you go for the double Forge, obviously it's gonna make the amount of units you have to defend with even smaller, right? You're just gonna have an even smaller army for a little while, but eventually it'll be better. So this is a, yeah, it's a very ShoWTimE-y move in the sense that it's a very statistical move. If you know exactly what you're doing, you keep track right here of exactly what's going on. The reason, obviously, why he keeps shading over here is because, well, he wants to go in a natural, but most of the time he's just trying to figure out if there's anything out of the ordinary. Okay, Revelation once again. The scouting here is very clean, and it's super important to keep track of exactly what this Terran player is doing. Sees right now the timing of the third base. Sees that everything is A-okay over there as well. And now finally do some of these units go back home. Stasis ward once again. Okay, this time around Jimmy is going to be the one chosen to step into that circle. It's okay, Jimmy. You'll be back in about a minute. Half a minute? I don't know, dude. I have no idea, actually, how long a stasis ward lasts. Feels like it lasts for about a minute. Revelation. Yep. And you can see how careful you are, right? So losing that one Oracle kind of sucks here, but he got a Cyclone for it as well. You gotta be very careful. So right now is where those double upgrades are not done yet. You can desperately chrono them, but the army right here for the Protoss is very, very small. Okay, good force fields though. Okay, very nice force fields. Slows down his army ever so slightly. Battery finishes up. But you can imagine, like, you're always on a razor's edge when you play Protoss like this, right? Because you basically need to finish up that shield battery. You need to finish up these additional Stalkers, because otherwise you just die. You need to, like, figure out exactly what the Terran player is going for. You need to figure out exactly how many greedy moves you can get away with before you really need to start warping in units. I love it whenever people call, like, Protoss the F2A move race in the game. It's so untrue. Like, Protoss units require so much micro. There's definitely some unit compositions that require less micro, but it's very, very easy to accidentally lose, especially when you play, like, the ShoWTimE method, right? Like, this is... Okay, 1-1 right now is done. He's going straight into +2/+2 as well. Colossus is going to be the name of the game. Now, those things take about 3.5 years to finish. Shield battery overcharge once again utilized though, and this is a bit of a deja vu from the previous game, right? I mean, it's obviously not in the same way, because this is not as big a Terran army, but yeah, once again, once that battery overcharge runs out, which is right about right now, this army is going to be much, much weaker. Marines will be picked up from the other side of the force fields. Here's the thing though. The laser boy is just about to come out. He's now making 2 of them at once as well, which is really nice. And even though it's not got the extended thermal lens upgrade just yet, it's gonna get that over the course of the next minute or so. Colossi, absolutely fantastic against light units. And, well, all of those Marines are light. Marauders aren't, but the other units of the Protoss army are gonna be able to keep those at bay just fine. Alright, nice. So there's Marauders, Widow Mines, and Marines right here inside of these Medivacs. I like this from Clem. This is the one downside of when you open up with Colossi, right? You cannot really commit your units in the right place very easily. Okay, one of the Medivacs... Okay, is going to end up going down at the same time. Medevac drop over here in the natural. I think that one will be denied. Very nice game here by Mr. ShoWTimE. Colossus right now is available as well. Okay, a couple probes end up going down here. Needs to bring one of those observers back. Alright, well, I think one of them is going to have to come over here. Mr. Observer. Mr. Observer. Okay, Revelation, I guess, would do the trick as well. Don't forget about it, please. Alright. If you forget about it, then these guys get another hit in that can absolutely suck. I know that from personal experience very, very well. Okay, so now all of a sudden, yeah, we have a bit of a trickier scenario right here for Clem. I mean, I say that Clem, of course, was already anticipating for this. That's why that army wasn't as big. He's got himself the 4th command center already done. Playing this map a little bit differently than he did in the previous one, and I can't blame him. Right now we see the 4th nexus coming up on the low ground as well for ShoWTimE. You can see that ShoWTimE is pretty much always going to be defending here, right? The most efficient approach. The German is coming out. That's okay. So extended thermal lens right now is done. Couple of free pot shots right there on those bio units is really, really nice. Okay, reinforcements coming in from the left as well. This army gets absolutely demolished. 5 Colossi is more than what we normally see. But, yeah, I don't mind it. Like, that's 1 or 2 more than what we normally see in this particular matchup. He's now going to go into Disruptors. He's forcing out his opponent to go for 4 Vikings here as well. But maybe there's actually a bit of a pushing potential right here for ShoWTimE as well, though. I say that. I'm pretty sure what he's going to do is go back. Yep. Of course he's going to go back. No, it's once again, it's the statistical better move most of the time, right? He's going to go Dark Shrine here as well. Disruptors here as a follow-up. I don't mind it. It's already a Disruptor right here inside of that plane as well. Team Mlem, Liquid Clem. 5th command center. There you go. Team Clem. Oh no. Team Mlem, Liquid Clem. Team Mlem. Maybe he should change his nickname entirely. From Clem to Mlem. So we have Liquid Mlem. Okay, no, never mind. We should never do that. That seems like terrible branding. There's the Blink upgrade as well for the Dark Templar. See if that can get any work done. I'm liking this game for ShoWTimE more and more. That being said, I've seen Clem pull off some ridiculous splits on these units. This is dangerous, man. As a Terran player pushing into this area right now, when you know there's that much splash damage, that many force fields, and that many disruptors, it is very easy to accidentally have like one disruptor ball destroy half of your force. Okay, instead he's gonna knock down the rocks here to make the splits a little bit easier. Ghosts have joined in the fray as well. Here's one Purification Nova. That's never gonna happen, ShoWTimE. That was him just trying to get lucky, okay? That was him trying to go bowling with his eyes closed. Sometimes you may hit a strike. Alright. Here we go. And this is so dangerous. I think that might just be enough Protoss, though, to push through this, yeah. There's 5 Colossi in the back. Still shooting lasers left, right, and center. Stalkers right now target firing down as many of those Vikings as well. Zealots are going to run off cooldown once again on their charge, so they're going to be able to close the distance. Reinforcing Terran units, though, are obviously going to be hanging out by the planetary, right? So they're going to be able to back up towards that safety. This looks to me right now as ShoWTimE wants to take a fight. We see Clem setting up a bit of a concave. Couple of, straggling units that were ahead of the pack will get picked off. Most of the Vikings right now are going to be able to work on the Colossi as well. That's most of the Colossi going down. Only a handful of Marauders remain. All of them have like a private plane here. Actually, there's right now more medevacs and other units available. Since the Stalkers were so busy shooting down those Vikings to save the Colossi, all of the medevacs will stay alive for a little while longer. And now the big hitters in this Protoss army are mostly gone. It's gonna mostly just be disruptors right now as a follow-up, which I really don't mind, but it's starting to look a little bit less exciting right now for a Protoss player, right? Like this army, it's lacking some sophistication here. It's just Stalkers and Zealots and disruptors. That is something that Micro, can just simply beat. Okay, this Observer over here, though, always nice. Good hit right there on that Disruptor as well. Good hit on that one, too. Gets 2 Ghosts. Alrighty, nice. Couple of Dark Templar here with their Shadow Stride ability. I mean, yeah, you can scan and see them, I guess, but they will still kill a lot of stuff. Their DPS is absolutely insane. I love how Dark Templar are now, like, pretty common in all of the matchups. I mean, we used to see them exclusively as a cheese, but it's so nice. Okay, there we go. Nice. Purification Nova. Planetary Fortress over here in some trouble as well. Purification Nova is once more going to connect with a couple of SCVs. Nice move right there. Planetary goes down, and with it, tons of SCVs too. A couple of Liberators here fly to their deaths. Steps the Zealots out of the Purification Nova range, and he kills a couple more SCVs right here with a few Zealots, and then those leftover Dark Templar over at the third base of our Terran player. Okay, one Zealot there does go down, but this is some nice decision-making right here by ShoWTimE. Reinforcing Disruptors coming in from the back. Those Dark Templar and Zealots still being a pain in the butt. Eventually, they will all be cleaned up, but obviously focusing your attention at the right place at the right time is super hard. Reinforcements in Stalkers right now are coming up. Okay, Purification Nova once more connects. And while the Planetary Fortress lives for now, ShoWTimE's supply all of a sudden is looking heavily in his favor. Well, I mean, his supply is looking heavily in favor, I guess, in this game. Whew. Here come the boys with the capes. The invisible men. The ninjas. Jimmy doesn't see anything. He's like a horse with blinders on. Yeah, this is the tricky part, right? If you know that there's Purification Novas available, when you know that those Disruptors are looking to go bowling on your Terran units, it's very difficult to actually commit your attention to defending those Dark Templar. Okay, a handful of them will be killed, but I think the Planetary may be in some trouble right now. There go the Purification Novas once again. There's the, what's it called? The Command Center gone. Ugh. A couple of Liberators siege up as well in this location. Reinforcements that were working on those Dark Templar are gonna be needed here on the low ground. Okay, good splits right there by Clem. Making the best of this, really. Man, Clem is actually insane. Like, he is now being doubled in supply count, and he's still making his opponent run. Okay, well. At least the thought was there, right? Okay, so, next up, we are on a Light Shade. Shall I look up the results for this particular one as well? Light Shade LE, what's the percentage? This one, in 903 games, has an advantage for Protoss at 50.7% in Protoss versus Terran. So, yeah, it's, once again, pretty much balanced. I'm actually curious where Beckett Industries is at. Beckett Industries? Beckett Industries for Protoss versus Terran? Oh, okay, that's definitely the map that ShoWTimE vetoed. So, oh my god, that's terrible. Beckett Industries, so one of the new maps that recently got added as well, it's the one with like the 3 speed-up circles in the center of the map. You know, the ones with like, yeah, you know the map I'm talking about? There's some really good siege tank positions on that one in particular. It has, in Terran versus Protoss, got a 35.7% win rate at the pro level for Protoss. So, yeah, Terran is winning roughly 65% of those games. I'm assuming ShoWTimE vetoed that map. That's pretty bad. You know it's a good Terran map pool when Terrans start vetoing Jagannatha. Every single Terran versus Zerg, it seems, Terran players are vetoing Jagannatha. Jagannatha is still like, you know, 50% Terran win rate. It's a good map pool right now to be a Terran player. There's no denying that. Anyways. Ooh. We see Mr. Clem over here blocking the natural expansion with an engineering bay that he only partially built, so you can cancel that. There you go, get his money back. He forces right now the low ground 3rd Nexus to be acquired here instead. Now, just like with Zerg, right? This can be very hard, but it should be okay if you're really good at the game. The big difference, though, is that Protoss units here are slow as hell when you compare them to Zerg units, right? So, this, yeah, this could definitely become a bit of an issue right here. Obviously, eventually, he's going to plan on taking this as his 3rd base, and then eventually everything will, like, be connected. But for the time being, committing your units at the right place at the right time can be very, very tricky. Now, we did see an attempted bunker right there at the front as well, but Clem has decided that he's not going to do that. Instead, he now goes for the command center instead of the main base. And I mean, was that really worth it for him, though, right? Like, sure, you delay your opponent's expansion ever so slightly, but you delay yourself quite a bit as well. That's one of the things that I think a lot of newer players don't really realize. When you, for example, see a Protoss player blocking an expansion, right, by building a pylon in it, or we see, in this case, Terran building an engineering bay over there, it's fine and all, but they're also delaying their own expansion in the process. So not only do you delay your opponent's expo, you also delay your own, because obviously it's not free to plant down that structure and then cancel it, right? And even if you cancel it, I mean, it's still going to delay everything at home for a little while. So generally speaking, I don't mind it, but I don't think it's actually great. I'm actually lifting both of the depots at the same time. It seems like all the Koreans are always going tick, tick. Tick, tick, like they do like one at a time. Clem apparently just, yeah, raising them both at the same time. Very nice. Alright. What Widowmine comes up? It's once again, of course, going to be that Stargate opener, because apparently this is the way that ShoWTimE plays right now. And actually, now the Adepts get in. This is a bit of a shaky one. Reinforcing units eventually will come out. SCV right there gets a kill. The Hellions have now returned back home as well to try and deal with those Adepts. But these Adepts are well worth it, right? And keep in mind, this is all off of someone who was forced to take this base as their first expo. This is ShoWTimE being on the other side of the map, being an absolute nuisance. And now he's going to take his 3rd base. Yep, already, pretty quickly. That does mean he's not going to have too much to defend against these Hellions. But, I mean, there's a shield battery, right? Shield battery is pretty good. Anyways, Oracle makes its way to the other side of the map as well. But this time around, there is a Widowmine in that mineral line. So, only a handful of workers end up going down. Okay, few of the workers over here in the mineral line also lined up. Nice little bit of shoveling right there on those Hellions. But eventually, they get picked off too. Okay, so big picture, where we're at. Yeah, both players have taken quite a lot of losses. And even though ShoWTimE has taken some more, I think this is a very fine position for him to be in. Because he still has that worker advantage. And he still obviously has that Nexus quite a bit faster. I mean, Clem is only just now securing the natural. And he's already got himself the 3rd about halfway, well, even more than halfway done. Not bad at all. Okay, this time around, it's going to be a Twilight Council follow-up here pretty quickly, as well as a single Forge. Bit of a different follow-up. Revelation. There we go. Yeah, Revelation. Oh, Widowmine. Revelation is such an important skill. Scouting with Protoss in general is very tricky. Like, it's one of the things I always find whenever I play Protoss. Like, with Terran, if you're ever blind, you can always send out a Marine, or if you're really concerned about what's going on, you can always scan, right? And then you can figure out what's going on. You're like, okay, there's... I mean, obviously, at this level, you can't just willy-nilly throw around scans, but it at the very least feels a little bit more forgiving. With Zerg, I mean, you don't have map vision. Now you send a Zergling across and you do, right? It's it's very, very fast. And obviously, you always have the creep as well. With Protoss, it always surprises me how much in the darkness you really are. Because observers cost money, and obviously, like, they cost supply and whatnot as well. Plus, they cost, like, building time inside of the robo facility, which is not to be underestimated. You really need to try and constantly have hallucinations flying around the map, or an oracle providing that revelation ability. But if you lose the oracle for free early on, it's very tricky. Now, I've seen this before. Shield battery only just now finishing up. Okay. Very, very tight defense here every single time, man. The tolerances right here for ShoWTimE are tiny. Yeah, so these little moves, they seem so straightforward and so easy to do, but this is one of those units that requires like 30 actions a minute just by existing, right? And 30 actions a minute is like a third of a lot of players' actions per minute in total. Not for ShoWTimE, but it's just difficult to get vision on the map and actually figure out what your opponent is doing and then respond to it. Okay, Medevac taking a little bit of damage. Battery overcharge is always one of those things, right, you have to be so concerned with. Guardian Shield is as well, obviously, a huge help. In case you're unfamiliar, this Guardian Shield spell from the Sentry basically reduces incoming damage by 2 from ranged units to units that are caught within the bubble. So it's a lot. Especially with Marines that are fast attacking units like that. Yep. Good defense here once again by ShoWTimE. Every single time that I see those Terran units marching across the map, I'm like, ooh, there's like no Terran units. Okay, Widowmine's just walking here. Ooh, that's a problem. Alright. Well, thought it was going to go worse, but 7 probes is still better than no probes. But yeah, every single time I see the Terran units marching across the map, I look on the side of ShoWTimE, he's got like 4 units standing there, and he seems to hold just fine. Without really losing too much, but it always looks so dicey. Anyways, Blink is done here. Okay, this is nice. Can you finish off that pylon, please, sir? No? No? Alright. Get some Marauder, get some Marine. Oh, snap. Hold up. Was that Widowmine drop? Coming in? Ay. Just like that. Even though you can defend for a long time, 8 workers end up going down in the blink of an eye. Okay. So what's the follow-up going to be right now for Mr. Clem? He's also gone for the single NG bay right here. Meaning that upgrading for him is going to be a little bit slower too. He has secured his own 3rd base, and right now he's adding on the additional tech structures too. Going up to 6 barracks. He's still, yeah, posturing here at the front all the time. This Protoss army is starting to look a little bit dangerous though, and Charge is finishing up soon as well. This is one of those games where both players are sitting around on much lower tech. Love the Widow Mines right here, randomly burrowing as well, just connecting to whatever they can. There you go, getting a couple Zealots here. Not bad at all. They're still going to be available to shoot just a little bit. Medevacs are running low on energy, so that's one thing worth noting. Clem cannot keep up this kind of fighting forever. He's going to attempt to go in the main base right there, but it's not going to happen. Just barely not. Okay, Robo Bay, Robo Facility. 2nd Robo Facility, that is. ShoWTimE slowly teching up. Trying to see if he can once again get those Colossi out. Wouldn't be surprised if once more he goes up to like 5 of them. It's expensive though. Plus, once again, it takes a long time for those units to come up. In the meantime, obviously, Clem is making himself a lot of Marines and Marauders. And those will pop out all of the barracks quite a bit quicker. One Widowmine, once again, just walking across the map. Ready to burrow right over here. Yeah, there it is. And these are little moves that make the difference. While the Protoss player is busy microing over there, he's targeting a couple of probes down once more. And this is starting to really add up. How many workers are we at? 31 in total. So it's 31 probes at this point have gone down. Second robo is done. He's got the money here for the Colossi. I think he needs to start him up ASAP. Okay, there's one. Thermal lens starts up as well. But you can see right now, ShoWTimE just invested into things that aren't going to be available for like another minute or so. Ooh, he started up a second one as well, but sadly, he hit a supply block. Okay, that's rough. Loses a couple units over here, I guess, to open up some more supply. That's something. It's one way of making a pylon. He made a pylon as well, for what it's worth, but you're not taking a battle just because you need to open up supply for higher tech units to come out. Sounds like my ladder games. Alright, +2/+2 starts up right here as well for Clem. He finished up 1-1. Colossus at this point is available. Doesn't have the ranged upgrade yet though, so it's not going to be as powerful just yet. Vikings are already being produced right here for Clem. Ooh, that's a large army of reinforcements. Like, if this army over here can already keep the Protoss player at bay, what happens when this massive one also starts joining? And that's the downside of these Colossus-based openers. I tried pointing that out in the previous game as well, but when you go for Colossi, like, they can only be at one place at one time, right? And if they're, like, pivotal in the defense, it's very difficult to actually defend this kind of shenanigans over here. Because right now, if the Colossus joins this party, then the natural is going to be overwhelmed. Okay. One Zealot over here grabs a couple of kills. I don't mind it. Yeah, these are pretty good traits. I mean, the Terran army is running a little bit lower, though, than I would like it to see. Blink? No? Not going to chase? Okay. Yeah, it's hard to know if you actually have more reinforcements on the back of that. Can't really blame him. +3 already starting up. Very nice. Slowly the death ball is growing once again, though. It's now going to be Colossi into Disruptors. We see the High Templar archives coming up as well, so that's always nice. At that point, you have pretty much all the splash damage options here. Man, this Observer. It's going to be spotted soon when his missile turret finishes up, but that Observer is paying for itself really nicely. It's almost like an identical copy-paste from the previous game, right? I mean, we've had some different ways of getting there, but it's it's very reminiscent of what's going on in the previous game as well. I mean, less Colossi and less upgrades and all that, but okay, well, here we go. Apparently, this is the moment where Clem may very well want to fight. Beautiful splits right here, actually, by the French Terran player, coming in from every single angle. Colossus is running dangerously low. Battery overcharge, though, keeping it alive for just a little bit longer, although eventually that one gets sniped down as well. Are there enough Protoss units to defend this? I think there are, and that's a large Terran army that just ended up going down. I mean, the Colossi obviously fell there, too, so that's something. But... oh, can he continue fighting this? I mean, the landed Vikings here can definitely help out as well. Vikings deal bonus damage against mechanical, and hey, that's, you know, most of this Protoss army. If they don't have any use anymore against Colossi, I guess it's something to keep in mind. Okay. It's a 4 command center type of game. The main base right now is going to float on over towards the 4th base location. Or sorry, 5th base location, I guess. Because he's taking a 4th over here on the left. This is a base that looks very susceptible to me, to Dark Templar. I'm just saying. Yep. The men with capes are back once again. It's actually kind of cool that there's 2 different models for Dark Templar. So you have this one over here and then that one over there. It's kind of neat. There's actually only a handful of units in the game that have that. I know that when you have, like, I think it's the default ghost skin, if I recall correctly. I'm not entirely sure, but I know if you, like, you have the default ghost skin, which I believe this one is, there's like a 1 in 100 chance that you get, like, a Nova. Like the Nova skin. Although that may actually be with, like, another skin. I don't know. Anyways, there's a small chance you can get that, depending on what you're running. Anyways, the Dark Templar by default. Oh my god. Well, this looks like a base that can be sniped, my man. He's waiting right now, I think, for the Blink upgrade to be done on those Dark Templar. Okay, well. Good Purification Novas. Yeah, he's waiting right now. Shadow Stride is finishing up in just a handful of seconds. That's when the men with the capes, the invisible ninjas, are gonna commit. Boop. 2. And 3. Beautiful move right there. Planetary Fortress is gone at the same time. Army over here is also getting picked up. 18 SCVs in the blink of an eye. Yeah, sure, you have a lot of Vikings available right now. I actually would have loved to see the Purification Nova just waiting for them to get on the floor. Can he actually deal with his army right now? I think he can. 19 SCVs, and there it is. ShoWTimE wins right here on Lightshade as well in a very similar fashion. Alrighty, so can ShoWTimE stop Liquid Clem? Clem has been on absolute fire recently. He's been doing absolutely phenomenally in tournaments, and yeah, he's just looking ridiculous. Can ShoWTimE actually stop him? So far, it seems that in a standard straight-up macro game, ShoWTimE is more than capable. Despite losing tons of workers throughout that game, he just wouldn't roll over and die, right? And it wasn't for a lack of trying right there for Clem. Clem was fighting for like 80% of that previous match, or at the very least he wanted to. But ShoWTimE just simply calm and collected, dismantled his opponent over time. Yeah, really nice. So you can see the tech progress right there as well for ShoWTimE, right? Now I know some of you are looking at this and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try. Good luck. It looks much easier than it is. Anyways, so since I gave you the statistics for every single map so far, 2,000 atmospheres, 94 pro games have been played of Protoss versus Terran on this map so far, with 47 of them going in favor of Protoss. And if you're good at math, you may have already realized as well that 47 of them also went in favor of Terran. So this map so far has been a perfect 50-50 split at the pro level, which is pretty neat. I mean, not too surprising. 2,000 atmospheres, it's just super straightforward. Just standard macro. Yeah, nothing too crazy. So because of that, kind of thinking that ShoWTimE wants to play a similar game once again. You can't blame the man, okay? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm in that camp for sure. Although I am a fan of the way that Haas likes to play this game as well from time to time, right? Hello. Ooh. Thought that was a dead SCV or a dead probe right there for a sec. Almost wonder if it's worth like pulling this pro or this SCV off of building there for a second just to like scoot on over and kill that. Excuse me, kill that probe. Could have happened, I think, but that's just wishful thinking on my end. I still have a hard time seeing perspective on this map. This pillar looks to me like it's on the same level as this over here and this over here. Am I the only one? Like, so when I zoom in, I can clearly see that this is much higher than that, but my perspective is all wrong. I don't know why. Can an artist, like, in a comment section let me know why the perspective is all wrong until I zoom in? I can't figure it out. It's the same on the other side of the map. Like, this looks to me like it's in this... Is it, like, shadows? Like, what is wrong here? I don't know. It really doesn't make any sense to me. The more I stare at it, the more it, like, the less sense it makes. When you move around, I guess you can... Like, from this angle, it's... There's something wrong, man, and I can't figure it out. Anyways, Mr. Clem has decided that apparently he's spotted a weakness in the defense right here of ShoWTimE. He's gone for the starport over here on the left side of the screen. And it's very close, of course, to the main base of our Protoss player. He's gonna go once again for the Stargate opener. And the crowd goes mild. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's too surprised by that. Let me guess, couple of adepts at the front. Insane. This is... Okay, well, much nicer so far here for Clem, though, than it was in the previous one. Can he get a Hellion? He wants to. Okay, well, gets a Hellion for free. Good guy, Clem. Feel like that one wasn't really necessary to lose. Anyways, it's gonna be a single Medivac right now, and then I guess those Hellions towards the other side of the map. As long as you have 3 alive, it's all good. So it takes 3 of these Hellions to one-shot probes. Assuming they all fire at the same time anyway. ShoWTimE once again gonna go for a quick third base. Oh, ShoWTimE, you're so good though. Well, that being said, I think he's still gonna take a little bit more damage. Yeah, this is where you want to have that 4th Hellion, dude! Ay, ay, ay. Anyways. Yeah, this is still some nice little bit of harassment. Obviously, you're not going to be able to produce out of that starport in the same way for another while. But I think that 12 probes, yeah, make up for that. Starport is already about a third of the way back home. I guess there's a pilot over here. Whoa, is the pilot sitting over there? Is the starport itself like a giant spaceship? I guess it is, dude. Do you think there's like a lot of people at work over here and then like... It feels like they should be able to build while this thing is flying as well, right? Seems like an obvious flaw in the design of this thing. Like it obviously should be able to build while it's flying. Anyways, Terran engineers, man. Stupid humans. Can you believe it? That would be terrifying, though. Imagine like a starport flying into your base and as soon as it lands, another unit pops out right away. Yeah, no, that would be a bit broken, eh? That would be a little bit broken. So the way apparently to defend when your starport is so far away from home is by going for an extra cyclone. I don't mind it. Okay. So, double tech lab right here for Clem. He's going to be able to transition relatively easily from that shenanigans from earlier into Stimpack, I think, with combat shield. He should anyway. No? He's got the money for it. No, you just... Okay. No, we're not going to do it. There it is. Alright. So +1, combat shield, Stimpack. The golden trio right here of StarCraft, right? The three musketeers of Terran. Stimpack, +1, combat shield. It's so nice. You can line these up to all finish right around the same time. And if you are below... Honestly, like Diamond League, maybe even within Diamond League, if you like do this really well and you just hit them right on the head with the upgrades all being done at the same time. So Stimpack is a little bit faster, or sorry, a little bit slower than combat shield, meaning that like these will finish up right around the same time. If you hit a good timing attack with those upgrades, the chances of you winning are, yeah, pretty much 100%, assuming you do it really well. That's obviously the tricky part, but it's one of the classical timing attacks for Terran. Someone like ShoWTimE, though, has figured this out already. He knows exactly when these upgrades are going to finish up, so I can almost guarantee you that those starports will be able to finish... Oh, sorry, those gateways will be able to finish up their first warp-in rounds right at the perfect moment, although... Ugh, that's... How many Phoenixes going down? 3 Phoenixes so far in this game. You really want to have those Phoenixes available so you can lift up the stimp... Or, sorry, the combat shields. Or... I'm reading the right side of the screen while trying to talk about siege tanks. Anyways... Phoenixes. Siege tank. Lift up. Good. No Phoenixes. Bad. There you go. Communication's hard. Anyway, Stimpack, combat shield, and +1 are all done right now. Here's that warp-in that I was talking about. Charge is finished as well, but right now only one siege tank can be lifted, meaning that the one siege tank over here behind the rocks is sitting in a juicy spot. Imagine if that one was also lifted during all of this. Anyways, another tank right now. I mean, the first tank, I guess. Back available once again. Is there going to be enough for Protoss to still break through this? It looks like he will be able to clean all of this up. Reinforcing Terran units, though, are rolling across the map. And it's dicey, man. Imagine, like, one more Phoenix was alive during all of that. That extra siege tank could have been lifted. Either that or you could have a Phoenix working on the first siege tank that got lifted, and it's just a game changer. F2A move. I still don't know where that came from. It's been a long time. Oh well. All right. So the defense here was tight, but it did happen, right? The most important part right now for our Protoss player. He's gonna go for additional zealots over here. Robo facilities coming up as well. Templar archives here as well. Okay. Wouldn't mind seeing him go for psionic for some psionic storms in this particular game. That'd be pretty neat. Oh my god. Jimmy! An absolute madman. Jimmy right here is standing on top of a Widow Mine. He gets a little bit of healing though. That guy literally standing on top of a bomb. He's surfing his land apparently. I don't know, man. These Terrans a little bit funky. Speaking of funky, a couple of SCVs have been brought to this party as well. Apparently they're here to build some structures. Yeah. And obviously making this choke point even tighter is gonna make these siege tanks more effective. A couple of zealots and an Archon apparently are running towards the other side to try and set up a sandwich. Although Jimmy over at the watchtower probably saw this already coming. Okay, that one will be cancelled, but I mean, it's just here to force a response right now from the Protoss player who is gonna indeed commit to this. Zealots coming in from the back as well. Are there not just simply way too many Terran units though for all of this? I mean, aren't there? That's a lot of Marauders still available. Reinforcing Terran units are coming up right now as well. This looks to me like a fight that Protoss can never win. Even a Liberator right now has joined the fray too. Council right there on the bunker. It opens up some additional resources to keep making some more Marines and Marauders. Yeah, Clem looking powerful in this game. You make a couple of errors with your first couple units as Protoss, and you just die. I mean, it's not game over yet, but it feels to me like it pretty much is, right? Battery overcharge is pretty good, though. Yeah, the green battery right there, the super battery. It doesn't mess around. It's just that right now we have a 50 supply advantage here in army for Terran. And, yeah, last time I checked, that's a lot. Okay, 48 versus 87 right now. If you can hold on for long enough, I mean, these Terran units are in, yeah, orange and red hit points right now. Well, most of them in yellow, I guess, but... Clem's like, come out, dinner's ready. Come on. Come out, just come out and fight over here. Darting back and forth. Immortal available right now too. I don't mind it actually. They build a little bit faster, a little bit cheaper than a Colossus. Well, here we go. ShoWTimE making a last-ditch effort, and it's quite good as well because the siege tanks get lifted at least for a little bit. Nice kiting here backwards as well though by Mr. Clem. Where's the reinforcements? There's really not that many of them available. Oh my god, is ShoWTimE actually holding on here? ShoWTimE, what in the world? Where's the rest of the Terran army? Yeah, here they are, using their combat drugs to run a little bit faster. Did Clem just actually, like, throw away a really massive advantage here? Most of the medevacs are at this point gone as well. Whew. Ah, the Marauders, man. Yes, closing the distance to that Immortal. There it goes. Saddest Immortal that I've ever seen. Floating to the surface of 2,000 atmospheres. Literally deeper than the Mariana Trench. These Terran units just walk around like the pressure doesn't even bother them. Fantastic. Either that or we're on a different planet where pressure works a little bit differently. Yeah, even though that wasn't a particularly great fight though for Clem, he's still just fine here, right? I mean, he's kind of committed to not getting more upgrades and stuff, so that's one thing to point out. And eventually, this Protoss army is going to get more sophisticated. But we're still looking at a Terran army right here that's 90 supply versus 46 Protoss. And even though that previous fight went quite well, and I think eventually if you can get the Colossi out and all that, it might be fine, but... those siege tanks, man. Okay, warping inside of the main base. Reinforcing Terran units are going to be utilized over here as well, but the 4th Nexus right now is gone. Maybe battery overcharge can once more save the day, man. I've seen it happen before. Okay, that one Archon over there running dangerously low. Most of the Zealots have been cleaned up here as well, so I think that should be okay. Prism, still available. Okay. It's going to be Disruptors, by the way. No Colossi this time around. I guess they're a little bit expensive to build. Alright. Couple of the Marauders do get nipped in the butt right there. Their heels were just barely in range of the bomb. Apparently everything exploded. Kinda sucks. Man, ShoWTimE is doing one hell of a job holding on, though. I feel like he's been dead for the better part of this game. And he's still in it. I mean, he's still very far behind. And it's still not looking very good. But he's not dying, at least. The fact that he's finding the resources to warp in units over in the main base of his opponent is like the most impressive part here. I still don't think he's gonna win this, though, but... well, he's making the best. A couple of units are sitting inside of the medevac for no apparent reason. Really needs to offload those. Oh, Purification Nova here. I mean, Purification Nova can change everything right now. Even a couple of ghosts available here, too, to try and reduce the amount of shields right there on all of these Protoss units, but in particular the Archons. This goes to show how strong ShoWTimE is. There's no way this is going to be a ShoWTimE win, but... unless he gets, like, the Purification Nova of a Century. Okay, now. Disruptor right there gets targeted, and finally he gets what he was looking for, but that took him like 6 more minutes than I thought it was. Okay, so the final map in today's Best of 5 series, the final game in the ESL Open Cup Grand Finals, we find ourselves on Oxide, and this one apparently has a 53% advantage for Terran. It's a slight advantage that's off of a sample size of 904 pro matches. So that's actually quite a lot. Quite a lot. Anyhow, let us see what ends up going down here in this particular game. Wouldn't be surprised at all if ShoWTimE just wants to play the same style once again that he's been playing every single game so far. I mean, he's made some deviations here and there, but alright. People used to refer to this in the business as a Maka Rex, because there was a Terran player in Korea called Maka that started doing this years and years and years ago. This is one of those moves that doesn't look very significant, but it's kind of annoying for a Protoss player to have to deal with. I don't think ShoWTimE is really going to be too bothered by it. But basically what's going to happen, right, is ShoWTimE is going to get to the other side of the map. He's going to look at the top of the ramp, and he's going to find nothing. Right? He may even do like a little scoot around the main base to figure out if maybe the barracks is hidden over there. Maybe he's going to find it in the natural. But for just a little bit here, ShoWTimE is going to think, oh my god, maybe the barracks is on my side of the map. Maybe he's proxy... Oh no, he's proxy rexing me. So he's going to have to play this a little bit more safely. Does scout that it's a single gas right over here. He's going to look in the corner of the main base. Sees that it's not there. There's a couple of builds on this map, right, where we've seen Terran players like floating the barracks into the main base of the Protoss player and then going for the Marauders and stuff. So you got to play more carefully. He's going to find it though. There it is. It's a very small move, but I like it. I think if you're a Terran player and you're going up against the Protoss, there's almost zero reason not to do this. It doesn't really slow you down. I mean, there's a little bit of lost mining time, I guess, with the SCV that could have been there. I believe this is the same SCV that built the barracks that's now building the command center as well. It's minor, and it's gonna give your opponent just a little bit of a scare. I mean, if they delay their nexus because of it, you win, right? That's pretty much exactly what you want. If they're gonna be playing a little bit more defensively, that is fantastic, and there's no really big downsides to it at all. Now, interestingly enough, even though he's not proxying these Marauders, he's still going to go very quick concussive shells and very quick double Marauder. This is kind of neat. Once again, it's a Stargate opener. It's a Stargate, Lester. Bigger tap of Protoss. Thinking, I love you, Serge. No. There's like 10 of you that got that. Okay, maybe more of you have played the original campaign a long time ago and actually remember it. Alright, here go the boys. They're not holding hands. But, they would like to, I'm pretty sure, because this is going to be a dangerous journey they are on. I don't know if they're going to be able to come back home. Adept is going to march to the other side. It's going to find the green tech lab right there. So it knows that something's going on, but doesn't know that these units may very well be on the other side of the map. No shield battery over here. This can actually deal a lot of damage. So concussive shells are done, right? So that means that these Marauders are going to be able to slow down these Adepts. And it's very annoying to have to deal with. That being said, it's still going to be 3 Adepts here, just like we've seen every single game so far. A little bit of missed target firing right there as well, actually, by Clem. Okay, he's going to get 1, maybe a couple of probes, but... how many probes can he get? Alright, so 4 in total. Was that worth it? Yeah, I don't think so. Like, Protoss is... Yeah, so this is the problem, right? ShoWTimE's like, okay, great. If you just threw away all your units, I'll just take a 3rd Nexus. So, that's the main issue. Like, even if you look at, like, the resources lost and you're like, okay, that's slightly in favor of Terran, whatever, right? Like, the problem is right now that ShoWTimE could do whatever he likes for the next couple of minutes. Clem is going to be in a completely defensive posture. And, yeah, the way that obviously ShoWTimE capitalizes on this is not with additional unit-producing structures, but instead with another base. That's just the way he rolls, but it's just very annoying. Unless you give away these Adepts for free, I guess. That would kind of suck. Okay, Stimpack is done. Oh, I was questioning that decision-making right there to take that much damage right there on the Oracle, but this is now looking... This is looking pretty nice. 9 SCVs end up going down, yeah. So... You can't really look at these kind of battles in isolation, right? It's very easy to look at that and think, okay, it's just 2 Marauders and a Marine for like 4 probes and a couple of Adepts. It's the follow-up that also counts. And this is now a tremendous advantage right now for ShoWTimE. Even though Clem has been on fire recently, this is a game where it looks like ShoWTimE may very well be able to stop him for at least a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, Clem is by no way, or in no way rather, out of this game here. But this is not the situation that he was in the previous matches. Now, one thing that obviously makes a champion is when you can even play a good game when you're behind, right? It's just that, like, I think that ShoWTimE is probably going to follow this up in the same way that he's done so far in this series. With, like, maybe he's going to skip the Phoenixes and go for a bit of a faster Robo or something. I mean, he's going for, okay, a Blink upgrade pretty quickly here as well. But if he goes for the exact same approach, he's just going to be able to do so. Like, that's the way he won 2 games so far in the series, right? He's going to be able to do so from a better position. So, it seems to me like that would be preferable. Anyways. Still very easy here for a Protoss player, or for a Protoss player rather, to accidentally mess up and lose. It happens. Okay, there's the Robo facility. Blink is not done just yet. Takes a long time, that upgrade. Revelation once again being used here on these Terran units. And we've seen this little dance. No Medivacs this time around, though. I mean, there's only 1 available right now. Second one is about to come out. Yeah. Doesn't have Blink yet. Okay. Guardian Shield is so helpful here, man. Guardian Shield is huge. Yep. Even without Blink, it can take this battle quite well. Since the Medivacs aren't here yet, these Terran units have a much harder time actually getting work done. So if this was parting right, we'd see these 12 Stalkers on the other side of the map right now. And I feel like that is actually the best move as well. Just because it just, you know, it seems to me like this game should be something you can capitalize on, right? Clem, though, that's the opposite of the thing that he wants. So he's going to drop inside of the main base of his opponent here to try and slow things down. If you can get the forts, that's quite nice. Oh my god, that's actually very nice. That's the beginning of a comeback. Denying +1 ground weapons is huge. I'm a big fan of putting your expensive tech structures in the back of the base rather than at the front for this very reason. Yeah, losing that +1 actually is really, really, really painful. Means that this kind of harassment that Clem has been going for in this series can just go on much easier. Now, Oxide does also have a couple of really good positions for siege tanks. Over here comes to mind, over there comes to mind as well. So, this is obviously something that ShoWTimE is fully aware of. There we go. It's difficult to break this once it's set up, I guess. Charge is about 90% of the way done. He does have... How many gateways are we on at this point? He's got 6, okay. Doesn't have too many, but one big warpin of Zealots coming in from the back, trying to surround this army. Stalkers blinking around. I almost feel like you don't want to actually knock down those rocks. I guess he wants to slow push in this direction. Okay. Ooh, Clem making the executive. Oh my god, Clem, that's... This is an actual high-level move. This looks so easy. But Clem's sniffing out that he's just about to get overwhelmed here. I mean, he actually is a little late. Yeah, he wanted to leave, I think, a little bit sooner than what he actually managed to do here. But he was just about to get his army smacked. Nice move right there by the Frenchman, realizing the situation that he's in. Okay, 2 Colossi once again as a follow-up. Don't let the supply counts deceive you, though, because those bad boys... Well, one of them is out right now, but... They already count in the supply count before they're even out, right? So... Sometimes the supply makes you think that you're really far ahead, and then you realize you had like 30 supplies sitting in the production tab. It's kind of rough. Anyways. I guess it's going to be Dark Shrine, hey? Yep. Dark Shrine with Blink? Where have we seen that before? Okay, nice charge right there on those Zealots as well. Colossi are going to be able to get rid of that siege tank over there. I don't know if that's their best time spent. Yeah, good concave setup here once again by Clem. 4th Nexus, though, is being acquired, and it looks like it may very well be finishing here very soon. This time around, it's going to be 4 Colossi into a Marauder. Okay. Yeah, when your opponent is going really Marauder heavy, or sorry, into an Immortal. I've been calling Immortals and Marauders the other. I feel like I've probably made that mistake like 17 times in this cast as well. It's one of the casting errors that I've made for years, and for some reason I can't get it out of my system. I keep calling Immortals Marauders and the other way around. Anyways, Colossi over here forced to deal with the drop, whereas the majority of the army, the rest of the army that is sitting over here. Well, looks like the drop has been dealt with. Third base also still up and running. I can't cast a series of ShoWTimE and not mention that he's Dimawa, right? His nickname is Dimawa. I'm sure everyone knows, but in case you don't, it means the wall in Germany, or in German rather, Dimawa. You can see very well why he's called that, right? It's one of the best nicknames, and it's a compliment as well. It's a little tongue-in-cheek, I guess, but there's no denying that this is an extremely difficult Protoss player to break, right? Like, he is just incredibly resilient, and he's looking so dangerous. And, like, it sucks as well, I think, because it feels to me like ShoWTimE has been winning this since minute number 4, but he won't go and kill you until, like, minute 20, right? So, like, you're basically... He's the type of guy that, like, rips off the Band-Aid very slowly, you know? He's like, oh, no, there's a little hair stuck. Let me just pull the... Oh, no, Band-Aid. Oh, it hurts. And rather than just snapping it off and getting it over with, he's suffocating you slowly over the course of the next 15 minutes. And he's totally fine doing that. He's totally fine doing that. He does not mind playing the long games. I mean, long in Protoss versus Terran being like 15 minutes. He does not mind. Alright. So now ShoWTimE is maxed. Terran is gonna add on Ghosts here as well, which obviously are very good. He's got himself the 4th command center, morphing into a planetary fortress as well. 5th Nexus is being acquired here, so everything is looking quite okay. Once again, the Dark Templar are setting themselves up for a little bit of a jumpy. Right there on these units, or whatever they can, really. They're ready to go in with the main Protoss army on the other side. Exactly, and that's the move, right? Trying to force the attention of the Terran player in one location and then popping on the other side instead. Okay, good couple force fields. Once again, the Dark Templar are running in. They're going to be able to get rid of a lot of these units very easily. Now, they do have the... Oh, okay, a Ghost apparently used EMP right there to reveal them for a little bit. Anyways, yeah, this is the move we've been seeing. SCVs, you guys can't leave. Disruptors? Nah, not needed, dude. Colossi, just get rid of them very easily. And that's 17, 18 SCVs going down, as well as a planetary fortress. Clem looked at that, though, and thought, okay, I cannot actually fight that army straight up. I'm going to go for a counterattack instead. There's a reason, though, why normally we don't see this happen, and it's because, of course, of the fact that Protoss can always recall whenever they like to. Terran can lift up their structures, and that's A-okay. Disruptors, though, are available here. 2 more are coming up. Can he target these? He can. Okay, so that's 2 Disruptors going down in the blink of an eye. Very nicely done right there by our Terran player. 41 SCVs, though, end up going down. The double robo facility also get picked up. I don't think that this is a move that is very good for a Terran player, right? I mean, he's overwhelming the natural expansion of the Protoss, sure. He's now getting into the main base as well. I wonder at what point you want to recall right now if you are ShoWTimE, because this is where all of your production is at, right? This is an awful lot of supply right now that's being picked up, and there's also just not a lot of reinforcements coming out of this Protoss player anymore. So he's got a massive bank, he's got a big eco, but not a whole lot to actually rebuild this with. Siege Tank on the high ground right now is also going to siege up and start moving at those probes over at the 4th base. SCVs have run on over towards the 3rd. Okay. I'm surprised he didn't just recall, but I guess he wanted to take the trade, knowing that he is going to more than likely be able to win a straight-up battle between armies. He's marching the units all the way back home. One Stalker apparently has been charged with cleaning up whatever. Are there enough Terran units right now? Oh, I like this. The 1 Dark Templar over here. There's not that many orbitals remaining anymore, right? So you don't have that much detection. Well, I guess you can still use the EMPs here as well. Anyways, the Colossi right now, the Laser Giraffes have returned home. It's time to take a battle, Clem. And I don't actually know if there's gonna be enough. GG is called. And just like that, Mr. ShoWTimE stops Clem's domination just for 1 series. I hope you enjoyed watching this match. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. Today, I also want to give a special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for directly supporting my content. But for now, thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.